So I wanted to do a review of the Wyze lock. It's a smart lock released by the Wyze company. I'm a big fan of their current products. I have several of their cameras and some of their motion detectors. And so when I saw them release it for early supporters, I signed up and I just received mine yesterday. I know it's currently on back order on their website, but I'm sure it'll be back in stock soon. So I don't have a smart lock prior to this. However, if you look in the video on the side, you'll see that I did for a while now have a keypad on my door. It's not on the deadbolt, it's on the handle. And we've been using that for several years and it's made things way easier. And initially I wanted to get a smart lock, but prices were high and availability, back when I bought this keypad was much lower. I think I tried to sign up for the Lockatron maybe 3-4 years now ago, and it just took so long to receive that eventually I canceled and just opted for a keypad. And with that said, the difference for me, as opposed to many other people that might be using their first smart lock, is that I've had this keypad for a long time. And so I'm not going from someone that's been using a key for many years and now using a smart lock. I'm going from someone that's been using a keypad, so no key for the most part, and now I'm going to a smart lock. So it definitely has to make things easier for me in order for me to consider it worth buying. So the Wyze lock replaces the indoor part of your deadbolt. You're going to use the same outdoor part, so your key is going to still work as usual, but the inside is going to be replaced with the smart lock part, and that will allow you to open and close your lock using the app. The instructions on how to replace the inside part are easy. They have a video online you can watch. It's described easily in the app. So I'm not going to bore you with the details, but it was pretty easy. They had a few adapters, and I was able to get it replaced in about 5 minutes. The setup took a little bit longer because there was a small issue with it recognizing that the brand new batteries they supplied were full versus telling me that the batteries were low. But after a little bit of resetting, it recognized that the batteries were 100%, and it let me calibrate the lock. So yeah, you'll go through a few steps to calibrate it so that it can actually tell if your door is open or closed, and that'll allow it to automatically lock if you enable it when the door closes. So I was able to set it up pretty quickly. With that being said, the lock is still fairly new and it has several components that are coming soon. The two components that they've already said are coming soon are a keypad that you're going to be able to attach outside. And so if you don't have your phone on you, you'll be able to type in a code or give somebody else a code, and they'll be able to use that code to open the door, open the deadbolt. Additionally, it'll let you leave the house and press a button to lock the deadbolt. So that's going to be really convenient, and I'm looking forward to trying out that when it comes out. The second feature is that right now it's not compatible with, it's not set up to work with Alexa or Google, or if this then that, but it's expected to be released fairly soon, so that'll be another way for you to be able to control it by telling Alexa lock the front door or Alexa unlock the front door. My initial experience has been mixed. I've only had it for a day, but once I get a new piece of tech, I usually play with it nonstop, go through all the settings, just do everything I can to figure out what it can and can't do and have it set up so I don't have to worry about it after that. I've been playing around with the settings a bit. Now, the Wyze does connect through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So once you get close enough to it, the Bluetooth will take over. When you're far away, the Wi-Fi is what's going to control it. It definitely, for the most part, works pretty easily if you open the app and tap the button to lock and unlock, and the notifications will tell you who locked it and unlocked it, or if it was manually locked or unlocked. That's convenient when you're, either asleep at night and you want to be notified if someone attempts to lock or unlock the door, or if you're away from the house and you want to know if someone tried to open your door or did open your door. So that's a nice safety feature. There are things that I expect the lock to do outside of that. And that is that, occasionally I'll have to go outside the house, take out the trash, check the mail, anything like that. And I need to know that if I'm using this as a standard lock, the same way that I use my keypad, that is that I leave the house. Once I close the door, it locks. But then if I'm still within proximity and I walk back near the door, I'd like it to unlock. Right now, I walk back to my door, I type in the code, and the door unlocks. So I needed to be able to do that. I don't really want to pull out my phone to have to press, open an app and press a button to open the door. That's not convenient. On top of which, if I left my phone in the house, I have no way of unlocking the deadbolt now. So for me, it's important that I guess in that case, I apologize. If I don't have my phone on me, I guess it can't really know that I left and came back in. So that's where the keypad that's going to come out is going to help. But that's definitely something that I now have to think about, that if I leave the house and I don't have my phone, I better have a key on me or I'm still locked out. Now there is a way in the settings to alleviate that. You can set it to auto lock after a certain period of time. So let's say if you constantly leave the house to check the mail, take out the garbage or whatever, you can set it to only auto lock after a minute or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and it goes up to higher increments, but I don't think you'd ever want to set it to much more than that. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to be a problem for me to either remember my phone or set that up so I remember, make sure I get back in the house in the next 3 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever. Otherwise, I'm locked out and I don't want to have to knock and have my wife or kids open the door. And the other aspect of it is needing your phone on you. So when me or my wife go in and out, we have our phones. But the advantage with the keypad is my younger daughter, who's now almost 5, memorized our code. And when we get home, she leaves our car and she walks up to the door, types in the code, and she can go into the house. And that's very convenient as well. In this case now, the door, she doesn't have a phone on her, so the door's not going to unlock. So now either me or my wife have to pull out the app and unlock it, or she has to wait at the door for us to come by. It's an inconvenience, Another issue I had is they have a setting where you can say auto unlock when you come within proximity of the house. And you have to allow your phone to tell the device where you're at all times in order for you to really be able to use that. So I tried that out, and there on the map that they had where you select where your house is for it to be able to detect that, the range was pretty wide, and it made me a little worried that if I'm 5 blocks away, it'll unlock my door, and that's a long period of time for my front door to be unlocked while I'm not really that close to my house. But I wasn't sure if that's what it really was going to do when I actually attempted it. So we went out, and about 2 miles away from the house, I enabled the feature to see if it would trigger the door unlocking when I got within range. But unfortunately, it didn't work for me on the first attempt, and we got home and I checked the door and it was still locked. So that feature isn't working the way I would expect it to yet, so that's a little disappointing. I do hope that eventually, which it doesn't seem like it does right now, is that the Bluetooth feature of it will notice when my phone connects to it via Bluetooth, and then will unlock the front door. So that would make things a bit easier. So my initial thought on this device is that while I really wanted to like the Wyze lock simply because I like the company and I saw the initial details of this lock, right now I'm concerned that it's not going to give me everything I needed to do in order for me to justify the cost. In that, at the moment, I'm most likely going to have to keep the lock unlocked during the day and stick to the keypad that I currently have, which is not smart, as in it's not connected to any system. You just have to type in a code. And then I can see where at night I would enable the lock and then again disable it in the morning, so that at least during the night I would get a notification if someone unlocked the front door, because we don't have anybody besides me and my wife who should be able to use that front door. So security-wise, I can see that as being useful, but for the price, getting it up and locking and unlocking the door, locking it before we go to sleep and then locking it manually unlocking it manually when we wake up, is not so difficult that that this lock is warranted. I'm hoping some of these issues that I've run into, like I've described, not being able to easily open it when you get near the door. It didn't sense it properly, and then I don't want to take my phone out every single time to press the button, and then, which I hope is alleviated by the keypad. I guess the downside there is that I already have a keypad, so replacing one with another isn't as convenient as I'd want. I want the door just to unlock when it notices my phone is getting near. I don't know how the technology there works, but that's what I would expect. When my phone gets near the door on the outside, unlock the door. And then once I close it, lock it. And then, so while the keypad would resolve some of my issues, and I can see the appeal of having the keypad and the smart lock working together, unlike the way I currently have it, especially being able to see notifications when the door opens, when the door closes, and who possibly did open or close it. I don't know if that warrants spending so much money on just this smart bolt, but time will tell. I'm going to keep using it for a couple of days or a couple of weeks and see if the experience changes. So if you're coming from having to use a standard key to open your door and close it, this is definitely an upgrade, and you'll definitely be able to utilize several of its features, assuming you're happy having to take out your phone rather than a pair of keys. I would still recommend putting a hide key somewhere just in case, so that you get used to this and you don't accidentally leave your phone in the house or somewhere else, or the battery on your phone dies and you've depended on this to the point that you don't have a key. For me personally, I'm still gonna have to play around with it to determine if it's really worth the price, because as I do have a numeric keypad to open my door, which I've been using for over 3 years, I've just found that to be incredibly convenient, and unless I can find a way to make this lock as convenient, the price is just not gonna be worth it, and I might have to return it. So I hope you guys have found this helpful. If you have any questions about the lock, comments about my first review, any kind of feedback would be great. Just leave them in the comments below. Thank you.